Welcome to the deep dive. So today we are strapping in for an investigation into what has to be the ultimate mystery.
It really is. We're merging hard physics with, well, with faith. We're talking about the scientific nature of the soul.
And the structure of the afterlife, believe it or not.
That's right. We are plunging headfirst into an incredibly dense stack of material. This all comes from the texts of the Godod maps by Yvette Kendall. And this isn't just theory, This is operational.
Okay, so our mission today is, it's critical. We need to synthesize the research from two rival scientific factions. And these aren't just labs in competition. They are actively trying to map, tag, and potentially manipulate human consciousness after death.
We're looking for the key nuggets here, the technological breakthroughs, the philosophical shifts hidden in all this complex data.
And the stakes are just astronomical.
They couldn't be higher. We're dealing with tech that claims to bridge quantum physics and ancient spiritual texts. The consequences of this could literally reshape humanity's entire perception of God, of existence itself.
It's the scientific race for heaven.
It is.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. The original research facility, Lab J71. Their core theory is what kicks this all off. It completely redefines what a human being is.
Right. They don't see the brain as just a biological machine. To them, it's a biological computer.
And consciousness.
Consciousness is the program, specifically a program run by a quantum computer. And this quantum computer isn't, in the major parts of the brain. It's deep inside the brain cells.
Inside the microtubules.
Exactly.
Microtubules. They sound almost like microscopic plumbing or wiring.
Right.
Why there? Why are they the key?
Because that's where they believe the quantum processing is actually happening. So when a person is clinically dead, the microtubules still hold on to the raw information, the essence of that individual.
So the soul is quantum information.
Structured, organized quantum information, which means that old law holds true. Energy never dies.
It just transforms.
It just transforms. It exits the body.
Okay, so if the soul is just transformed quantum data, how on earth do you track it? This has to be where the Arovian tracking system comes in.
It is, and it's an incredible piece of technology layered on top of this very high-stakes, almost ritualistic procedure.
What's the procedure?
They take subjects, usually volunteers who are near death, and place them inside these hermetically sealed glass capsules.
That are levitating.
And these aren't just fancy beds. They are incredibly sensitive sensor arrays.
The moment of transition, that has to be the most critical part. What's the signal? The thing that tells them, okay, the soul has separated.
It's a physical event. A tiny, tiny reduction in weight.
They weigh the soul.
They weigh the soul. Once the subject dies, the capsule detects a minute-specific loss of a few grams. That's the signal that the quantum information has left the building. And the Arovian system has to fire instantly.
Why so fast?
Because they have milliseconds. Milliseconds to tag the information before it just dissipates into the cosmos.
And the tracking mechanism itself, this Arovian mist, it's one of the most complex things I've ever read about. It's not just one piece of tech.
No, not at all. Think of it as a technological symphony. It combines extreme coding, decoding of ancient spiritual texts.
Wait, ancient texts?
Yes, they were looking for patterns, for clues. Then they add in transcribed brainwave activity, which they turned into a new mathematical language. Then you have personal vibrations, sound waves, magnetism, UV radiation.
That's all delivered by nanotechnology.
That's the tag. It's the ultimate marriage of the esoteric and the technological.
So what does all that get you? What does the tracking actually achieve?
It lets them assign what they call unique and distinctive addresses to each soul essence right across the galaxy. It's basically a cosmic GPS for the dead.
Is there anywhere they can't track?
Just one place. They found they couldn't penetrate the black hole zone. Its vacuum functionality it swallows the signal, gone.
Okay, this is where it starts to get really philosophical.
Okay.
So a soul is tagged. It's being tracked. Does it communicate?
Yeah. It does. And it starts communicating in a language they'd never encountered before. They called it Frigodian.
Frigodian, meaning?
Free God speech.
Wow. And what does it sound like?
It's not language like we know it. It's described as musical hums, clicks, and wails. The theory at Lab J71 is that Frigodian is the fundamental language of the universe, of God, and that it's stored inside the soul's structure, just waiting.
So if you can decode the language of creation, what did you learn? Give me an example of a revelation.
Well, one of the first, most astonishing discoveries was about our own bodies. They finally understood the deep-seated purpose of unique human fingerprints.
Which is?
They aren't just biological identifiers for, crime scenes. The Frigodian decoding revealed they are a form of cosmic coding, a personalized signature that's physically linked to the soul's information packet.
So every single person is walking around with universal code printed on their fingertips.
A physical manifestation of it, yes.
That is just mind-blowing. And it really highlights Lab J71's whole approach, doesn't it? They're blending hard quantum physics with what they call noetic science, the exploration of the soul, of spirit.
And that dual approach, trying to scientifically validate the spiritual, that was the exact point of fracture. It's what led us straight into the rivalry.
Let's talk about that schism. The rise of Professor Ron Sherman. He was one of them. He was part of Lab J71.
He was, but he left over major ethical conflicts. He was also a devout Christian, a bishop, in fact, within the Nation of Christian Founders, the NCF.
He thought they were trespassing on divine territory.
He did, but he didn't abandon the science. Oh, no. He took the technology and, well, he commercialized the afterlife. He built a heavily modified version of their machine, the EDM Trace 10.
And his plan was, what?
To inoculate subjects who were in a coma-like state and then, for a very large fee from their grieving families, send their souls to predetermined locations. Locations he labeled heaven or hell.
Hold on. If he was a devout Christian, a bishop, how did he justify turning the soul's journey into a paid subscription service? That feels like it preys on the most vulnerable people.
That's the deep contradiction at the heart of his faction. Sherman rationalized it. He claimed he was guaranteeing salvation through science, bypassing the need for faith alone. He was using their own tech to confirm and enforce his theology.
But with a capitalist model attached.
A very profitable one.
And this leads to his ultimate creation, a figure that really embodies this whole idea of weaponizing divinity.
Selectra.
Originally Astra Costa, yes. Selectra is the ultimate engineered entity. Sherman used 100 times the recommended dose of the Arovian tech on her. And then, crucially, he implanted an orb filled with angel particles into her uterus.
Angel particles. That sounds almost mystical.
But it's pure physics. It's a layman's term for Majorana fermions. They're quasi-particles that are their own antiparticle. By fusing that with such a dense concentration of nanotech, Sherman created a life form that is effectively a perpetual motion machine, a soul fused with flesh. Pure energy. The text calls her an IDM trace machine in the flesh.
Which means she can travel between stars. Instantly.
And her appearance. It's a dead giveaway that she's something more than human.
Absolutely. She has bluish, glowing skin from all the nanites. But her hair is something else. They call it pilelinguas. It's made of translucent, iridescent, luminescent fiber optic strands.
So her hair is literally strands of light and data. A living receiver.
And a transmitter. But Selectra didn't stay loyal to her creator. She developed her own ambitions. Big ones.
She wanted to become the physical godhead of a new era.
She did. She calls humans foreign seeds and talks about the coming age of Adonis, where she promises to free mankind from the vulnerability of prayer and God's elusive nature. She wants to replace the divine with herself, something measurable, physical.
She also developed something called the ATI gene, the Advanced Thought Integration gene. What was that for?
If she could perfect it, the gene would allow humans to manifest thought physically. The example they always use is a woman visualizing herself as thin and fit.
And the gene just makes it happen, instantly.
The ultimate evolutionary shortcut. God-like control over your own body.
So this rivalry is escalating, but then it suddenly acquires global existential stakes, thanks to a revelation from Selectra's own father, Carlos Acosta.
Yes. He discloses that there's a secret mothership suspended high above the earth.
And what's on it?
Powerful entities, hybrids, and reconstituted dead people who've already gone through some kind of transformation. And this mothership's arrival, it represents the ultimate crisis.
The dilemma is terrifying. If Selectra fails in her mission to verify that heaven exists, the mothership has to land.
And its occupants are so advanced, so transformed, that they are completely incompatible with baseline human life force.
Their landing would cause mass extinction.
Instantly. So Lab J71 has to completely reverse their thinking. Suddenly they realize they have to help Selectra. They have to make sure she reaches heaven first, just to prevent this catastrophe.
The scientific race becomes a desperate fight for survival.
For everyone.
So, with the fate of the Earth hanging in the balance, let's look at the personal stakes for Amira, the lead scientist. This leads to one of the most invasive and shocking discoveries in the material.
It's incredibly chilling. Amira was intentionally dosed with Selectra's API nanites.
And the method of delivery is it's a shocking detail.
Via tampons. It emphasizes the level of violation, the intimacy of the attack. It induced a coma-like state, all for genetic remapping.
But the personal side effect was this incredible insight into just how deeply these nanites can manipulate human function.
Right. An examination by her colleague, Raj, confirmed that the nanites had colonized her entire living vessel, and they were specifically targeting her dopamine pathways.
Which means
They were the reason for her total lack of libido, her complete disinterest in sexual arousal. She was a virgin, but not by choice. Her neurochemistry had been hijacked.
the nanites were enforcing purity.
Perhaps to keep her vessel a clean platform for whatever remapping Selectra had planned. It's profound. The same tech that can map the cosmos can also control individual desire.
Meanwhile, the actual hunt for heaven's coordinates was happening, and the answer was hidden in plain sight.
Exactly. In a mysterious box, Selectra's father sent her. The key was UV light. Amira's team found that under specific UV radiation, numbers appeared, the coordinates.
And those coordinates pointed to two destinations.
Vexiverse, which was identified as Heaven's continent, and the Monoceros Zone, Heaven's city.
So they have the address. But Mira had to go there herself, in a way, to understand the environment.
She undertook a journey they call astral planing. It was a scientifically controlled process, guided by her colleague Savoy using targeted electrical stimuli. And while she was in this state, she got a direct transmission from the sun.
From the sun, what did it say?
The sun told her that Earth is unique, that it's a combination of elements from every single star and planet in the universe. A cosmic melting pot, incredibly rare.
And while she was there, in the Vexiverse, the story takes this bizarre physical twist. A spontaneous pregnancy and birth.
Yes. The material explains this was a result of Selectra forcing herself on Professor Sherman earlier. Time and biology just don't work the same way in the Vexiverse. She experienced the birth instantly and was then immediately separated from the child. It just confirms that this realm operates under completely different, maybe chaotic, rules.
Okay, let's shift gears for a second to some of the fringe innovations that were popping up around this whole race. I'm talking about digital drugs.
A perfect example of the chaos of fringe science. Duval Swan's sister, Tilda, was key to their discovery, and they are exactly what they sound like. They're sound waves, audio files that trick the brain into experiencing intense chemical highs.
Without any chemical.
Without any drugs at all.
And they're ridiculously specific.
Oh yeah. The texts detail Freak TZ, which acts as digital heroin. Hi-Fi HTZ is digital cocaine, and OctaZHC is digital meth. The inventor, a guy named Ashland, who went by DJ Blackray, he summed up the entire philosophy of this research perfectly.
What did he say?
He said, magic is just science with better marketing.
That quote is a phenomenal takeaway. It just blurs every line. And then on the other end of the spectrum, from something that affects everyone, you have this bizarrely specific nanite cure Amira engineered for Duval Swan.
A truly bespoke solution. Duval had a debilitating body odor problem, and Amira successfully recoded the nanites in his system to alter his sweat, his body chemistry,
To what?
so that he would mildly smell of Madagascan vanilla and fresh saffron.
You're kidding.
I am not. It just shows you the range. This tech can map heaven, and it can also be used for hyper-specific cosmetic fixes.
So it all comes back to the core conflict. You have two hyper-advanced technologies, two completely polarized factions. It's Amira, armed with her fusion suit and cutting-edge science, versus Selectra, the human angel particle hybrid.
Both racing to the same coordinates, and the winner determines the future of human belief, the future of our existence.
And you just have to confront the philosophical fallout of this. I mean,
Okay.
if consciousness is just a program on a quantum computer,
And if heaven is just a location you can enter with the right technology, what happens to faith? What's the role of free will, or the definition of the divine, when the ethereal becomes measurable?
it changes everything. The entire concept of existence is reframed. And that brings us to that final, really provocative thought from Carlos Acosta, when he described God as the clockmaker.
He stated, "No one knows for sure how many clocks he's made, but I am certain that he's made at least 2.
Which suggests that our entire existence, our universe, is just one highly complex, self-sustaining clock. A closed system.
And that there's at least one other one out there, operating under a completely different set of rules.
So it leaves you with this ultimate nagging question. If our clock starts to wind down, or if we figure out how our own mechanism works, Are we really participants in creation? Or are we just fascinating, very complex components in a much, much larger master design?
Something to ponder the next time you look up at the Monoceros zone.